So let's get moving. The foundation, Private Finance 201. I trust y'all enjoyed the last show. You learned a lot. You know, I mean, that's the whole point of this new, private finance series. So, like I said last week, we pretty much kept it to the basics. This week we're gonna jump in a little deeper. And off the bat, I want to discuss right now, and I don't give legal advice. I'm not an attorney. I don't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But I do want to say those people who have 401ks right now, the CARES Act allows for penalty-free withdrawals due to economic hardship, which means you can take money out of your retirement, your 401k, your IRA, if you're experiencing economic hardship due to the pandemic, and there's no penalty. This is unprecedented for these times. I recommended to my peoples, my pops, that he take a lot of his stuff out and diversify into precious metals, get some gold, get some silver. I counsel most anyone who will listen to balance your portfolio. With precious metals, at least 10%. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. What I'm saying is, it's what those who understand markets and how markets work is what they do. So maybe you should think about that. I wouldn't take any money out of my 401k unless I was putting it somewhere else, not to spend it, and not to invest it in the stock market or something silly like that. It would only be to purchase insurance for the paper assets, the paper stocks, the paper bonds that were in the portfolio, because that's what gold and silver is. It's insurance for the paper money. The stock market's going down. The value of the dollar is decreasing. The value of gold and precious metals inversely increase. And it's just the way it works. So, I just wanted to touch on that. But, check this out. And that is part of, Private Finance 201. You got to understand and recognize specific opportunities as well as know what, how to fully, follow through properly and, consistently with these opportunities. So let's get into, let's get into this show, you know what I mean? Like, I prep for this, and I want to start out in preparation that we understand that there are three essential elements to private wealth. Private wealth preservation. Three essential elements. I suggest you take notes. And those three elements are control, flexibility, and tax minimization. I'm not a tax attorney. I don't give legal advice. I'm not an accountant. I don't work at the Federal Reserve Bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm just a, average. You know what I'm saying? But control, flexibility, and tax minimization, these things are to be understood. These things are to be, implemented, prioritized. So when we get into this, I want to, I studied wealthy families, historical wealthy families, the Vanderbilts, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, uh, a lot of different families that were wealthy. The Rockefellers, Carnegie. These different families, these wealthy families and wealthy individuals, I studied extensively. And today I wanted to start off, Finance 201 with some facts. Why not? Speak of truth right here, right? So, in my studies, I realized that the Vanderbilts, Vanderbilt, he established an empire, and in 1877, when he passed, he left $104 million to his heirs, and that was in 1877. Now, the Rothschild, I'm sure Rothschild, left, a little more. You could say significantly more to his heirs when he passed. But 92 years later, the heirs gathered, at the Vanderbilt reunion. All the Vanderbilt heirs gathered. And out of 120 descendants of Vanderbilt, from, one man, 1877, and 92 years later, he had 120 descendants. And out of all 120 descendants, none of them were millionaires. Not one. Now, Rothschild, on the other hand, the Rothschild family is estimated to be worth between $1 and $100 trillion today. And the difference is not how much money they left their heirs. It's one man left their heirs his estate and all the wealth that he had acquired over his life. The other man left the heirs an estate, a family bank, and a system for building wealth. And in my research, I found that the Amschel Rothschild left three main rules to his heirs. Now, he left all this stuff in trust, obviously. And the successors had three main rules that they had to go by. All family wealth was to be held in one family bank. All loans must be repaid. So you didn't get money for free from the family. Yeah, your family has money. You know you have money. Usually there's a pretty loose application process because you're family. And then you get a loan and you must pay back the loan. A lot of times it's not interest. Most times it may be a little bit, but a lot of times it's not. Anytime the family bank borrows money to an outsider of the family, an outsider individual, family, or business, then there's interest charged. But all the wealth is be held in one family bank. All the loans must be repaid, and every year they are to get together, which you must do at least once a year when you're administering a trust as trustees. You must have at least one meeting a year and share the lessons learned through banking. Now, through my studies of wealthy families, wealthy individuals, the reason why I study wealthy families and wealthy individuals is because I want to be a wealthy family and to have a wealthy family and to be a wealthy individual. Now, will I be wealthy in my lifetime? It depends on what your definition of wealthy is. But is it possible for me to allow for my family to be wealthy? Yes, absolutely possible. Why? Because I have specific knowledge. And I'm going to share with you some of that knowledge that I have. And it's very specific. And I'm going to say it again. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. This is for educational and informational purposes only. Educational, informational, maybe even entertainment. Maybe you find it entertaining. Cool. Then it's for entertainment purposes only. So back to the 3 essential elements of wealth preservation: control, flexibility, tax minimization. Now, obviously, we're assuming that if you made it to Private Finance 201, you and your family are structured privately. That's the expectation. If you're not, you can still benefit from this. Now, I want to talk about one aspect of the run rate. And I'm not going to get into what the run rate is and all the aspects of the run rate. But what I'm going to say, because I've said it on previous shows, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the name of the show off the top of my head, but yo, those of you who be checking out the show and listening, you know what I'm talking about. But one permanent industry that I'm focusing on in this finance class, I guess, 201, is the charity. There's always going to be a need for charity. Always. It's not going anywhere. It's a permanent industry. But also in banking and loans. So banking and loans is always going to be a permanent industry. And there's always going to be a need for someone to need a loan or need money that they don't have because they want to buy something or invest something that they can't afford. And in this permanent industry of banking, a lot of people think of a brick and mortar bank and they'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's cantankerous because how am I going to create a bank? I mean, come on, man, that's an unattainable, pursuit. And I would likely agree with you, but you got to shift your focus. We private. So when I say bank, I'm really talking about how you structure your finances or a certain segment of finances. Like say, you have finances, you have a checking account for expenses. You may have another checking account that holds, the money that you deposit for your property taxes or something like that. I don't know. People do their finances differently. But in this instance, banking requires income, right? So in order for you and your family to create income, the first thing you have to understand is that family businesses, just statistically, is the most common way a family moves from the employer side to the owner and investor side of the game. It's the most common way. So if you don't have income coming into your estate, then there's no need to talk or discuss a bank. Because without income, there's no funds. And without funds, there's no fund to loan. And there's no funds to loan, there's no loans. And I trust that makes sense. So, understand family business, understand the tax advantages of a family business, of a family LLC or corporation. And that's, remember when I said, 3 essential elements of wealth: control, flexibility, and tax minimization. And the tax advantages properly structured LLC or corporation are crazy. You can't even understand. A family business is an additional credit profile. And, there's limited liability if it's bankrupt. You file Chapter 11, you don't have to worry about your private personal assets even being encumbered. But here we go. When we're talking about life insurance, most people think about death benefit and why do I need life insurance? And they think about, I say life insurance, people think death. And it's crazy. I think it's kind of crazy because it's called life insurance for a reason. But I understand most people know term and stuff like that. But no one thinks about bank when you think about life insurance, man. Nobody. And maybe you've heard some shows that I've done on life insurance and stuff, but I don't think I've ever dropped it like this. So when you have life insurance, when you have a policy, with the company that pays dividends, and it's not a term policy. You have to have a specific policy. It's called a whole policy, WHOLE. Usually, typically, these types of policies are offered by mutual companies. Different type of life insurance companies that have mutual companies as well. But, I'm not I'm not an authorized or licensed life insurance dude, so whatever. But I do know that it's whole life, and I do know that it's with the company that pays dividends. So in this situation, it's guaranteed tax-free 4% earnings. And I know you might be like, well, 4% ain't too much. It's not nothing. But when I discuss this concept of a bank with you, you understand that 4% is a lot. And on top of that, there's more than just 4%, right? So we got something where guaranteed tax-free earnings of 4%. And you'd be like, okay, hold up. So you're talking about guaranteed tax-free earnings of 4%, and you're talking about paying dividends. Are you sure you're talking about life insurance? I would say yes. Yes, I'm absolutely sure I'm talking about life insurance. Now, we must be to understand life insurance is a contract, and there's different types of life insurance. But the specific type of whole life insurance, dividend paying life insurance, specifically, when it's structured a certain type of way with different types, with a specific types of riders, paid up additions, so on and so forth. The premiums of the policy, all right, are an expense, which is a write-off. Now, individually, let's say you're an individual, you get life insurance, you're the owner of the policy, so the premium comes in your name, and the beneficiaries are your children. You don't have a private structure set up. There's still tax benefits for that. What are they? I don't know the individual tax benefits for, paying life insurance premiums. But I know there's tax benefits for it. I know the tax benefits are exponential on the private side. It's also on the public side. You can look into BOLI, B-O-L-I, which is bank-owned life insurance, which is very, very similar concept, y'all. But look. So you got your trust, right? The trust is the owner of the policy, right? So because the owner of the policy is the trust, the payment or the bill comes in the name of the trust, which means if you're structured properly and you're administering the correct type of trust, that is an expense to the trust. So it's a write-off to the trust. It's an expense before any taxes, taxable income is calculated. But now, what you got to understand is, once the trust makes that premium payment to the policy, right, to keep the policy in force, but you still got life insurance, there's a large percentage, don't quote me on this, you got to give him my insurance guy. I'll give you his number if you email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. You got to be serious. Don't waste his time. I'll have my homegirls in Louisiana put a hex on you, fam. I'm not playing. Don't waste his time. But there's a certain percentage of the premium of the bill for the life insurance policy, the policy bill. There's a certain percentage, it's like 91%. It's between 88, 83. It's in the high 80s and low 90s of the bill you just paid is now available to be loaned back. Now, hold up. Let me back up. So you telling me that because the policy is owned by the trust pays the policy, deducts that payment from its taxable income. It takes an allowable deduction. Yes. It's an expense. Yes. But the trust has access to pretty much the same amount of money in the form of a loan. Yes. How long afterwards? About 30 days. So in a lot of ways, we are still in control of the money, but it's expensed legally from the trust. They're gonna take me off the air, man. They're gonna mess up the show. I feel like I ain't never felt like I'm saying I don't care. I'm gonna keep going. So if it's an allowable expense against the trust indenture, which is a deduction, so it's non-taxable income, but you still have access to a large portion of that in the form of a loan? Well, yes. Okay, so what's the loan? So you can loan it back to the trust at interest. The interest is typically about 4.7, 4.9% typically. Don't quote me on this, man. This is from my experience. All right, but the interest that you pay on that loan is captured inside the policy, so that interest adds to the cash value in the policy, man. And it builds up cash value in the policy over and over again, over time, by taking out loans, paying them back, taking out loans, paying it back. Wealthy families, instead of going and getting loans from credit union and banks, they do it like this, and they add to their wealth. They capture the interest that they would otherwise pay banks and credit unions within their own family bank. And over years and over time, this compounds. Now, look, I got clients that use these types of policies, these types of methods to be investors, private investors. You ever heard of private investors? Usually you can get your hands on some, money. A lot of times, real estate investors or real estate developers get like $100,000, but it's at like 25% or something crazy, and they got to mortgage the land and the property. So if they don't pay it back, the lender gets. Usually that's a private. That's some kind of private lender, and most times they lending that out of a life insurance policy, man. And the risk is minimal because, let's say you don't pay the loan back. Well, whatever you don't pay back is just deducted from the death benefit. So when there's distribution to the heirs, they just will say, the death benefit is $500,000. You had $200,000 worth of loans out. $300,000 goes to the heirs. And when you get a loan like this from your life insurance policy, there's no set repayment. You don't have to pay a certain minimum every 30 days. You can pay whenever you want. You don't even have to pay it back. Who's going to pursue the debt? The board of trustees? Aren't y'all on the board? This is one way how the wealthy perpetuate their wealth. And then the death benefit, typically in wealthy families, the beneficiary of the policy is the family trust. So every time a family member dies, there's an influx of wealth that goes into the family estate. And this is one way how the rich get richer, is through life insurance. Guaranteed tax-free 4% earnings. The rich pay themselves first. The rich pay themselves with interest. The rich recapture all money they spend. This is how they do it. This is one of the ways they do it. They do it through life insurance policies. And you can repay loans with income from the family business. I mean, think about it. As long as the entity isn't related, you can make a loan to the entity and the entity can pay the loan back. You can encumber your family corporation with loans and maybe even a financing statement, a UCC1. And I was reading about bankruptcy, how to be running the company through bankruptcy, restructuring the debt, letting the creditors or reduce the debt by $800 million and stuff. Okay, so check this out. If you had a family business, right, that was owned by, the majority or the shares or the interest in the business was owned by a family trust or something like that, asset trust, I don't know. And, the company's in a lot of debt, baby. It's in a lot of debt. And, maybe the board votes to, hey, we're going to file bankruptcy. This is a lot of debt. We're going to restructure this debt. We're going to get this debt off the corporation. And you can ensure that the lender, quote, the lender has a first in time, first in line lien on the company. So which creditors do you think are going to get the low end of the stick? This is a game. This is a game that's played on us. And when I figured this out, it blew my mind. I had to tell people. But I had to figure out how I was going to tell people. And it's very specific. I ain't going to see my face on YouTube. Like, I'm not playing out here. But I know this stuff is real. Look, if your family trust gave loans to your LLC, I don't know, way back in the day, LLC never paid it back, whatever, and it goes bankrupt, and the family trust has a first in line UCC financing statement lien filed with the security agreement against the company for loans from way back in the day that were never collected on, who's going to get paid in the restructuring first? Now you understand, like, look, do you care? Do you care if you bankrupt your company? No, because if you got the first lien on it from one of the private structures from your estate, you know that your private estate, your family is going to be the first ones to get paid off of that restructuring. Just keep arm's length and don't self-deal, and it's a cakewalk. This stuff happens every day, multiple times a week. I mean, I'm serious. And we wouldn't know it unless we were taught what to look for. And I'm trying to teach y'all what to look for. I'm trying to teach y'all how to look at the world and the system and the economy and economics the way it is supposed to be looked at, not the way you were taught to look at. Because this is what's going on. We getting richer and richer over here. If you structure privately and you got the right structures in place and you got the right contracts in place, by the way, it's a life insurance contract. Contract makes the law. It's a private contract between the trust and the life insurance company. You can do your research. Walt Disney, Ray Kroc, the McDonald's dude, there's so many people that kept their businesses afloat, that expanded their businesses, that allowed their families to not feel a reduction in their quality of life by using cash value in their life insurance policies. This is nothing new. It's just not taught to us. We get sold term life insurance, and they send us these things in the mail talking about how cheap it is to get $100,000 in coverage, but then when we turn a certain age, the coverage cuts off and we don't pay them fools thousands and thousands of dollars over the year for no benefit, zero. That's called term insurance. If you don't bite it within the term, you get nothing. Nothing at all. There's no cash value. There's nothing that you can borrow against. That's what we get. They take the whole policies, the whole life insurance policies with cash value that are actually assets. If you've ever filled out a loan application for a car or a house or a property, you see on the application there's a spot to list life insurance policies. There's a spot to list stocks and bonds, and it's under the assets section. And then there's another section for liabilities. What do you owe? You got student loans, you got a car, how much is your rent, how much is your other property payment? That's the liabilities. Most people don't understand. The proper life insurance contract is a liability. In the right people's hands, well, in the wrong people's hands, but it depends on the side. The proper life insurance contract for me, if I'm the life insurance company, is a liability to you. It's called a term life insurance policy. Now, getting income into your estate is the main thing. I'm not saying that. But knowing what to do with the income. People talk about, I make this money, I make this money. I don't care how much money you make. How much do you keep? Do you know what you're doing? Do you have a private finance degree? And I ain't talking about paperwork. It shows. It shows in the action. Now, a lot of people, you gonna listen to this, you be like, yeah, man, I don't get it. Maybe you don't. But what I'm going to say is, whether you get it or not, it is what it is. And this is it. This is one of the main tools that is used. And honestly, it's one of the easiest tools for us to get our hands on. You know, when we're talking about the run rate, you're talking about, permanent industries. And there's three main permanent industries that are involved in the run rate. These are industries, sectors of the economy, that if you get enough money into these industries that's equal or greater than what your business is earning or what you're earning, then you can get income equal to or greater than what you're earning for life, and you don't have to work. And one of the things, I know people, man, they got millions and millions of dollars in life insurance. I know a guy who does, private consulting like I do, who had a client that got so much life insurance on himself that no life insurance company would give him life insurance anymore because he had like 100 and some policies, 109 policies or something. You can get multiple policies on yourself. You can get policies on anybody who will consent to getting a life insurance policy on them. Large companies and corporations do these things all the time. Like, honey, with my company package, I get life insurance. And then something happens to him, and then the wife is looking for the life insurance, and then she realizes in the contract that the company gets to pay out. The company was the beneficiary of the insurance. So you repay loans with income from the family business, and you pay the premiums with income. And all the repayment of the loan is a write-off for a business. You can write off interest on the repayment of the loans. A business can. That's what I'm saying. There's tax advantages to businesses if you do it right. I know what you're doing. A repayment of a loan is not income. So if I loan you money, you pay it back. I didn't make income. It's not taxable. So you get the loan repayment, got that income coming in. You got premiums being paid, which is adding cash value to the policy. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you this. This is free. This is for all the fat feet. This is for all the clown feet out there. It's for them pancakes. If you're trying to be a private lender, you got to get a nice contract and a mortgage. I'm serious, yeah, a mortgage. And whatever you're going to loan, you need to encumber 150%. So if you're going to loan $1,000, you need a lien on property that's worth $1,500. Think like a mortgage company. Think like a bank that finances vehicles, like a car. They got a lien on that title. You don't make the payments, they come take the car. That's a secured loan, secured transaction. Same thing with a mortgage. That's a secured loan, a secured transaction. You don't make the payments, they take the house. You gonna be a private lender? You need to be able to take something if they don't make the payments. And if you don't have the legal authority to take something if they don't make the payments, you private lending wrong. Absolutely wrong. So having the right policy is important. Having multiple policies is important. Oh, side note, have you ever heard of trust fund babies and they turn 21, they get access to their trust fund? I'm going to tell you the truth, 9 times out of 10, they ain't getting access to their trust fund. They're getting access to the cash value that's available in the life insurance policy that was opened on them when they were born. And they got to pay it back. And the owner and the beneficiary of that policy on them is their family trust or one of their family structures. You never thought about it like that, huh? If you think about it like that, it's like, oh, okay, that's how these fools be perpetuating their wealth through multiple generations. When you're talking about multi-generational wealth, you're talking about 300 years. The Vanderbilts didn't even make it 150. The Rothschilds will be good. What's up with your family, and what are you going to do to ensure its success? I suggest that you get into trustee training. I suggest that you sign up for the email list. Did an email offering blast, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I'm going to do a reminder blast in a couple days. But trustee training is the place to be. You see what's going on with the public. You see what's going on with the food prices. You see them prices in the grocery stores, at the corners. You see those prices. You see what's going on with the layoffs and the unemployment and the canceling of benefits, and the moratorium on evictions is about to be up. The moratorium on foreclosures is about to expire, and they're about to cut off extra unemployment benefits. And people are like, yo, I can't afford it. You can't afford not to restructure your estate. You can't afford not to get privately restructured properly. You can't afford not to get into structures that don't owe their existence to the government or the state, and therefore are not governed by the government or the state. There's a lot of laws about to be passed. Look, it's about to go down. And unless you know what to do, you and your family's going to get caught up in the shuffle. And people feel like, ooh, I got time. You ain't got no time. You do not have time. You do not have time. I can ask trustees right now how difficult it is getting to open up trust accounts. I've been doing trustee training for like 5 years. It is becoming more and more difficult to open up a trust account. They're getting weird. They're talking crazy. They want extra stuff. They want to send it as legal. Many times they're not calling people back. It's really going down. It's absolutely going down. You can't afford to wait. You really can't afford to wait. You cannot afford to wait. I know I get out a lot of information. I know there's a lot of people I never hear from who listen to probably hundreds of my shows, right? Got buku information and never circle back. But I bet you money, y'all are going to be the ones that are going to have issues if you're ever in an audit. The IRS is ever, the computers, algorithms everywhere. The computer just decides to flag this one. Now you're getting a demand letter from the Internal Revenue Service. What do? Most people know how to play like they know how to administer a trust, make it look good, but when set with opposition, fold up. It's over. It's rap rizzle, rapping team. Unless you are learning and know trust administration, knowing about trusts and someone sending you a trust indenture doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's the substance over the form. The substance of each individual transaction. It's legal precedent. It's dismissed for failure to state a claim for which relief can be granted. That's how the legal system works. And unless you make a claim for which they can grant relief, you ain't getting no help. Ain't nobody go, hey, I was sitting over here. I was listening to y'all, and I realized you got a private trust. Oh, okay. And you don't really know what you're doing, right? Let me go in here. I'm going to help you out. Just out of the kindness of my heart. I just happen to be in the courtroom. Yeah, right. That ain't going to happen. Not to be facetious or to call anyone out, but I hear it all the time. Jesus, take the wheel. All right. You can get audited by the IRS with your weird trust estate, that you got from some weird old guru, and let Jesus take the wheel, and the IRS will take all your bread. All your bread, take everything. Take your house, take everything. So Private Finance 201. I appreciate you checking out the show. This is a continuation of last week's show, Private Finance 101. If you didn't check that out, if you're checking this one out, I would highly, highly advise that you check out last week's show. You know, I also suggest you check out the show I did, The Hidden History of the Education System or something like that. It wasn't that long ago. The Hidden History of the Education System or something like that. And learn who has been teaching you and why they've been teaching you what you've been taught in public school. And help lift the fog, you know, over your eyes and over the eyes of your people around you. And look, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you like I tell the trustees who sign up, man, and they get to talk to me. Look, the people closest to you, the people that you know, your family and your closest friends, they're going to be the last people to listen to you about this information. You have to show them. You have to show them. You have to show them. They see a difference and they start asking you questions. That's the only way you're going to teach most of the people close to you. And it's going to be sad and it's a disappointment because, you know, my man right there, he got a brain and he's smart. I know he can get this and I know she good with this and she good administratively, so I know she could be a good trustee. My sister, that don't matter what you know and what you think. You got to show the people closest to you. They got to see something different going on. Like, oh, I see you. You know, you over there pushing a what you call it? What is that? A Mercedes? When did you get that? How much you pay for that? Actually, I didn't pay for it. The trust paid for it. Okay, so now you're talking. They're gonna be asking you questions then, because you're looking different now. And you're talking different too. You're talking different before, but now you're looking different. You're doing different things, and you're still talking different. So now they're gonna start. But other than that, you let your family and your friends just chill. Let them do what they do. Don't waste your time. Put your head in them books, and get your training on. And show them what it is, because these people don't have the same drive as you, don't have the same intentions as you. You know, you may love them and stuff, but they're not doing with their time what you're doing, which is checking out, you know, informative internet radio shows, man, trying to learn. And I applaud you for that. But I suggest that you know, if you're on the fence, jump off, because you don't want to slip and, you know, hit your privates. Make a decision. Admin at welcometothefoundation.com. You know, I'm here to help. It's my mission. It's the mission of the trust, the Sot L Trust, as well as the Foundation Trust, to, you know, disseminate this information. So, you know, Sot L in conjunction with the Foundation, in conjunction with High Frequency Radio Network, with the oversight of the Creator and the ancestors and Big Brother Uncle Yusuf L. This is how we put it down, you know. And you can start asking people about life insurance and whole life and cash value and borrowing against it and stuff, and they're gonna ask you who you know, or they don't know what you're talking about, or they're gonna play dumb. That's the three things going on. This is the game. This is the game that's played on the public. This is the game that's played on us, and I want you to know. So one of the best things you can do is get life insurance, whole life insurance policy, on yourself and on your children, whoever. Your children, the younger they are, it'll never be as cheap to get a life insurance policy than it is on a newborn baby. As you get older, it gets more and more expensive. Now, I wouldn't run away from that expense, because the higher the premium, the higher the cash value that's available. And then you get with my guy, and he'll teach you how to pay all of your money into your life insurance and borrow out the money and then pay your debts with that. You're talking to this guy paid off almost $1 million in debt in like 31 months using on life insurance. This stuff will change your life, but you got to be properly structured. I'm telling you, you really do. I absolutely do. It's fundamentally important that you come out of her so that you are not a partaker of her plagues. When they start doing all these state taxes and all, man, look, you ain't going to be a part of that because you got private trust. No state capacity law impairing the obligation of a contract. That is definitely a claim where which relief can be granted. Yeah, you know, this right here, and there's a statute right here, and then they did this, and, you know, according to the contract, it says this, so, you know, we're appealing for breach of contract. Oh, sounds like a claim for which relief can be granted. Blah, blah. And you can do your dance, and you can do your dance, and you can do your dance. That's about it, man. I prepped kind of heavy for this show. I woke up this morning, and I didn't know if I was going to do the Finance 201 or if I was going to do something else, you know. So all day I've been prepping for this show. Off and on. I'm going to be honest. I can't lie. All day off and on I've been prepping for this show, so I'm not going to take any callers, but I love you very much. And yes, I have been shying away from callers. Not for any particular reason, but besides the fact that, you know, it's hard for me to sit down for 2 hours, man. It really is. And as well as I've been sitting down pretty much all day, like I said, off and on prepping for the show. So I wanted to get it right. And, you know, I trust that you appreciate that. I trust that there's no hard feelings, that, you know, I haven't been very apt to take callers. But I trust that you understand. We got about a minute left in the broadcast anyways. But, you know, hey, I'm just trying to, you know, my thing is I'm looking to assist in your private transition. I'm also looking to assist in your upgrade of your knowledge, your upgrade in your understanding, your upgrade in your implementation, your upgrade in your action as well as your performance, whatever that may be. But, you know, we all are here on this earth with a certain amount of energy, infinite energy with a finite amount of time to convert it. And there is no maximum wage. There's no ceiling. There's no, you can't pay anyone more than this. There's no maximum wage because there can be no price put on your life or your time. That's why there's only a minimum wage. And understanding that, I think, as well as understanding that you are a creator, is one of the first steps into, you know, taking that power and moving forward and moving on to another, you know, another step in your development. And, you know, I would love nothing more than just to be a catalyst, an assistant to your journey and in this transition. So, you know, with that being said, I trust y'all enjoyed the show. I trust you learned quite a bit. I trust that, you know, this helped to shift your mind a little bit more, just a little bit more with every show, just a little bit more, so that you can easily take this first step and make that entire transition effortlessly. And, you know, through trustee training and through, you know, the foundation, I want to assist in making that happen. So email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. Go to www. Who does that? Who says www? Go to welcometothefoundation.com. Sign up for the email list. You're missing out if you're not signed up. You know, and take the leap. Make it happen. Sometimes you got to get down to get up. Sell some stuff. You'll get it back and you'll get it better. It's all about what sacrifices you're willing to make for the things that you want. And if we haven't understood that and realized that yet, just please believe that that's what it is. I'm telling you, and I'm not lying to you. I would never lie to you. It's all about what you want and the sacrifices you're willing to make. But I suggest that you get on it. Time's running out. And I'm here whenever you're ready. So with that being said, y'all have a great week. Enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Self-care is important, man. We missing out, man. Clip your toenails. You know, clean out your toenails, man. Clip your cuticles, you know. Shampoo your hair an extra time. You know what I'm saying? Rub on some lotion. Go get some new lotion. The $8 a bottle lotion. Go get it. Quit playing. So what? You deserve it. Get the $8 a bottle lotion. Put it on your skin. Chill. Put your phone down. Light a candle. Put on some jazz music. Take a hot shower. Sit and chill. Put an incense on. Clip your toenails. Take care of your cuticles. Rub some lotion on you, you know what I'm saying? And say 10 things that you're thankful for. And make it a routine. Take care of yourself. Enjoy yourself. But you must take care of yourself in order to enjoy yourself. And make it happen. I trust in you. I believe in you. I know you can do it. So with that being said, you have a great week, a wonderful week. Do your dance. Don't make no excuses. And I'll catch you next time here on the hottest radio network on the planet, High Frequency Radio Network. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'll catch you next week. Peace to the guys.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.